Shannon Martin. Tonight, gunfire rings out in Scarborough, sending police flooding to the neighborhood.
We received several calls for two males shooting at one another in the courtyard behind me here.
We'll take you there live and hear the latest from officers.
If this all comes to a halt and shuts down, might have to go to the food banks.
Bracing for impact, we look at the ripple effect the Hollywood actors and writers strike is having north of the border. Plus,
I'm the queen. I'm the queen, and you guys are all my minions.
It's the Junior King and Queen Showcase. For the first time, the Toronto Caribbean Carnival event includes children with special needs.
This is CBC Late Night News.
You're looking live tonight at a neighborhood in Scarborough. At this hour, police are still on site. As you can see, yellow tape blocking off part of a townhome in a housing complex. An investigation is still very much in the early stages at this hour. Shots were fired, hitting 3 men. This is still very much a developing story tonight. Well, thanks for being with us. Let's take you through what we know now. Toronto police say 2 people are in custody in connection with this triple shooting.
Police arrived on scene and found 3 males with injuries. Those males were treated here and they were transported to the hospital where they continued treatment.
It happened around 3 p.m. this afternoon at Morningside and Danzig. Police say they got a call about several men shooting at each other in a courtyard. According to Abdel Malik, their injuries were all non-life-threatening. He could not confirm whether the 3 injured men included the 2 taken into custody. Police say there is no risk to the public, but they're asking for witnesses and any dash cam footage from the area. Now, tonight's triple shooting comes on the 11th anniversary of that deadly Danzig mass shooting. On this day, 20 people were injured when shots rang out at a block party in 2012. 2 young people were killed, 14-year-old Cheyenne Charles and 23-year-old Joshua Yase. Well, another shooting to tell you about, this one from last night. It happened just before 10 p.m. at a playground near Christie and DuPont in Toronto's West End. Police say as many as 5 shots rang out. When they arrived, they found a victim with minor injuries. Police say there is no suspect information just yet. In other news tonight, for the first time in 6 decades, the Hollywood actors and writers are on strike. Studios are shut down. As Travis Danrash shows us, it's already having a big impact close to home.
And due to this week's entertainment strike,
at the premiere of Disney's Haunted Mansion, classic villains walk the red carpet instead of cast members.
Death lurks around every corner.
Stars like Danny DeVito,
Deep sunken eyes, like a raccoon.
Owen Wilson and Tiffany Haddish are all on strike. Actors joining screenwriters who were already out. And the ripple effects are already reaching well beyond Hollywood.
This is the Star Trek The Discovery.
Sergei Capuche is a Toronto-based storyboard artist helping producers and directors lay out their visions. He's worked with Apple, Netflix, and Amazon.
100% of my income comes from these streaming platforms. So if this all comes to a halt and shuts down, might have to go to the food banks.
Last year, it's estimated Hollywood studios and streaming companies helped boost film and television production to over $3 billion in Ontario alone.
It's also ancillary economic activity, the catering, the locations, also the Teamsters. They're also out of work. So it's a significant economic hit for Ontario and for Toronto especially.
While Canadian productions are still happening, unions here are standing in solidarity with their American counterparts.
No, it's not just about money.
Multinational corporations using AI to produce scripts and scan and replicate actors is also at issue.
What happens to my livelihood if you replace me by an AI image without my consent, without any compensation, without any guardrails in? That's absolutely wrong. It's immoral. It's unethical.
While many film studios sit and wait, there's also concern about the Toronto International Film Festival, which is just about a month and a half away. If the strike drags on any longer, those usual star-studded red carpets could be left starless. Travis Stanrash, CBC News, Toronto.
It was a disappointing finish for the only Canadian driver at the Honda Indy. The Toronto racer had to bow out early, all because of mechanical failure. But as Anam Khan shows us, for thousands of fans, the weekend was still quite the thrill.
Fast cars, competitive races, and big crowds. Honda Indy Toronto brought loads of talent and excitement to the city in what organizers say is its biggest event in 2 decades.
It's grown in every way, from the number of series participating, from the number of vendors, fans coming out. It's just really in the last, however many recent years, motorsports' popularity has really exploded.
And it has. Olivier Kolb's touchdown from France last night.
We just like cars and races, so we decided to give it a try.
Even the younger generation is taking an interest.
But I'm happy to be here because it's really fun to see all these cars and stuff like that and how they're built and stuff like that. I like F1 and I guess I like the Honda Indy too.
We even caught up with this local community group that takes people with disabilities to local events.
It's very accessible. I agree with that. It's good to get out of their homes and comfort zone.
Andre Harry has been to every race in the last 10 years. He's seen it change and grow over the years.
It's a great event for Toronto, I gotta say, yeah.
Why so?
Just the atmosphere, bringing the people down to the city, seeing our troops walking around. So it's a positive for the city, and I think it's something that helps promote Toronto on a national, international, and a global scale as an event.
The 3-day event saw 12 races. Christian Lundgaard from Denmark speeding to first place on Sunday. Anam Khan, CBC News, Toronto.
Always a fun time for sure. Okay, Ontario recorded more than 15,000 lightning strikes in the last 48 hours. Officials say that increases the threat of wildfires in the province. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry took to social media yesterday, warning residents that stormy conditions and wildfires go, quote, hand in hand. They say lightning fires can actually smolder underground until surface conditions dry out enough to support open flames. So we got to bring in Sophia for our first look at the forecast. And yeah, all that lightning, certainly not good news.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at some of those nocturnal lightning strikes. Every flash you see on your screen, Shannon, is one of those lightning strikes. There was a ton of activity in the province overnight, and especially into the Ottawa region, where along with all that lightning, we also had a ton of rain, nearly 80 millimeters for some localities. And yes, lightning can induce more wildfires, but luckily on the bright side, we're not heading into a super hot or super dry stretch. The fire danger rating is actually quite low right now, which is good, but we're still really watching the situation. 400,000 hectares have been burned in Ontario so far this season. 69 active fires and 10 that are out of control. Could have some moderate air quality Monday afternoon, but you know what will push that out and make for some pleasant breathing weather? Storms. Chance of storms for non-severe storms Monday and Tuesday right across the province. You're more stable on Wednesday. Just a little bit of humidity, which of course breeds a bit more instability for the first half of this work week. What could you use on a nice pleasant stretch of weather? Oh, I don't know, maybe some ice cream. Yes, it's July 16th, that day every year where we pay homage to this great initiative, and I do fun things like embarrassing myself on TV eating ice cream. That'll come later on in the show, though. Shannon, back to you.
We're standing by for that. Okay, some Toronto grocery stores have stopped selling alcohol, they say, for a lack of profit. CBC has confirmed that 4 grocery stores, including a Loblaws on Queen West and a Freshco on Bathurst, have removed booze from their shelves. Beer and wine have been sold in 450 supermarkets across the province since 2015. But some experts say grocery stores are actually losing money when they sell beer and wine, and that's getting some mixed reactions.
Doesn't change anything for me. I feel like it's more convenient to go to a grocery store and just do it than to walk to like an alcohol store personally.
So what would bring you to buy alcohol in a grocery store?
A selection that didn't suck.
Doesn't bother me, but I know people for sure that it's annoying. It's nice to be able to get your groceries and grab some drinks at the same time.
I used to buy once in a while from the shoplifts, but it looks like there was a lot of shoplifting affecting the groceries, so I think they had to stop it.
Yeah, he's right. A spokesperson for the Retail Council of Canada is saying, quote, In the current environment where we are seeing a huge rise in incidents of theft, grocers are actually losing money when they sell beer and wine, which is obviously not sustainable. Unfortunately, at some locations, it's become unmanageable, forcing grocers to remove the products from their shelves. The Toronto Caribbean Carnival is underway. Today, we got to meet the Junior King and Queen. The annual Adorable competition allows youngsters to showcase and celebrate their heritage and culture. For the first time, the event includes children with special needs.
Today is our wonderful Junior King and Queen showcase. What we have here is kids from 16 to toddlers, all competing to win this title for this amazing competition. The kids get to go up there on the stage, they get to dance to our calypso, to our music. It's important because this is how they learn to appreciate the Caribbean culture.
I really love it, but the texture, the nice things, I just want it to be mine, just crumble it and then take it home. I'm gonna be on the stage showing my costume, like me, like always what I do. I'm the queen. I'm the queen and you guys are all my minions.
It's about jumping up, it's about partying, it's about celebrating the Caribbean culture.
Canada is a very welcoming country. It is so important for the people of the Caribbean to feel welcome, to feel part of the fabric of Canadian life. Events like these, when people come to it, they see the amazing culture of the Caribbean.
Welcome back. Many Canadians are still digesting the news that interest rates are going up again, but did they need to rise? It's a question many may be asking this weekend. First, though, let's take a listen to some of what the Governor of the Bank of Canada had to say this week about what it's trying to achieve.
If we don't do enough now, we'll likely have to do even more later. But if we do too much, we risk making economic conditions unnecessarily painful for everybody. We've come a long way, and we don't want to squander the progress we've made. We need to stay the course to restore price stability for Canadians.
I had a chance to speak earlier with a mortgage broker, Rasha Angrata. She's based in Windsor and helps us make sense of everything. Here's that conversation. In your business, you started getting a lot of phone calls, and we were talking earlier, you said there's kind of two groups of people who are maybe feeling particularly worried right now. Anybody who's up for renewal of their mortgage and people with a variable rate mortgage or a home equity line of credit. Can you talk to us about what some of those conversations have been like?
Yes, so we have been getting many calls, more of a panic style call where, what do I do? My mortgage comes up for renewal this year or even next year, and what are people expecting, and what do they need to get ready for, is the question that a lot of people are asking.
Yeah, and I know you kind of hear the sentiment, like how much more are we expected to take? You know, we are hearing conversations about people wondering, is it time to actually sell now?
So I wouldn't I wouldn't advise on people selling, because if you sell, think about it, where will you end up? You're going to have to purchase another home, or the other option would be renting. And so I wouldn't sell. I would look at your total mortgage debt situation and how you can, like I like to use the word zhuzh it up, like how you can organize it and make it better to suit your needs. It's all about knowing your numbers and knowing your contract and getting help with it, getting a professional person, a professional help to organize your debt situation, your overall debt situation.
Yes, for sure. And we are seeing, you know, the ripple effect of these interest rates and rising rent as well. So it's a very good question. Where are you going to go if you sell? I know you've seen it all over the 25 years. You've been through some tough spots, as we all have. And it is kind of a hard question to answer, because I know you don't have a crystal ball, but a lot of people may be thinking, you know, is this the end, or could we see more hikes? What are you thinking?
Yeah, so you're right, we don't have a crystal ball, but if you look at the history of something called CPI, the Consumer Price Index, And look at where these numbers were in the past 10 and 15 years. And if you look at the line, it's actually was a flat line, or a little bit of an up and down for many, many years since 2002 and 2004. And if you look at what happened during the pandemic, the CPI dipped. It actually went into a negative. The Bank of Canada likes the CPI to be hovering around 1 to 3%. And in order for Bank of Canada to stimulate the economy and make it better, they lowered interest rates drastically, okay? And by doing that, it helped people spend money. What happened in 2022 was the result of that. That 1 to 3% shot up to 8.1. And that was a 40-year high. Now, where are we at today with it? We're at 3.4. That is great news for me, and great news for people to hear. They're going to announce what that index is July 18th. I'm really praying that it starts with a 2. We know the tightening has not been very good for many Canadians. It's not great with these Bank of Canada increases, but it is helping ease inflation and bringing it down to where we want it to be.
So that's the hope, but are you feeling optimistic?
With everything that I'm hearing with clients and the phone calls that are coming in, I wish I could speak out to thousands of people at one time, but I do feel good that in 2024, we're not far from interest rates coming back down. I really feel like in 2024, the beginning of it, or maybe a few months in, we're going to start seeing interest rates coming back down.
Yeah, we're getting closer. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate all the insight, Rasha. She's a mortgage broker joining us from Windsor.
Thank you for having me.
Earlier this week, you probably saw Olivia Chow was officially sworn in as Toronto's mayor. As she so often did during the election campaign, she rode her bike to City Hall for the big day to see a little of the city along the way. But you could also see a bit of the city on what she was wearing.
I was like, man, she's rocking it. She looks so good. And yeah, I loved it. It was very, very sweet of her. I had no expectations, or I didn't know she was going to wear, but that was very sweet of her.
That's designer Anu Raina. You can hear just how thrilled she was to see this week. She actually created that skirt more than 9 years ago, all part of a collection dedicated to Toronto. She tells us more about what inspired the design.
I did an entire collection. That's my thank you note and my sincere thanks, my love letter to the city of Toronto. It was amazing to see people from every background, living together in this big city, chaotic city. And Olivia Chow's skirt, that's what it kind of depicted, the kind of chaos of Toronto, but in a very loving way.
She says since Wednesday, she's received a flurry of emails and requests, even from a customer in Vancouver, asking for a similar design. Heading next to a celebration of music featuring rhythms from around the world.
We come from a very DIY tradition, so the challenge of taking an empty lot next to a train track and turning it into a 2-day music festival is something that we love. And it's also our neighborhood, so we feel really strongly about making events like this happen where we live.
You're looking at Mixed Toe Festival. Coming from a carnival tradition, organizers say this weekend is all about a party atmosphere, from hot food to frozen treats, and of course, plenty of music from local and international. Okay, you've heard it before, but we'll say it again. You scream, I scream. We all scream for ice cream. A shop in Toronto was giving away free scoops today, all in celebration of National Ice Cream Day.
Here I'm scooping Milk and Cookies ice cream, Ontario Milk and Cookies ice cream from Shaw's, partnered with the DFO, and we're just giving away free ice cream all day.
What's better than that? The only thing better, is free ice cream. Free scoops of Ontario milk and cookies were available from noon till 8. And you can bet, there was definitely a lineup. I mean, I'd line up for ice cream. It is Free Ice Cream Day and a special anniversary for us. One of my favorite moments ever with our friend Sophia. Isn't that right?
Yep, Shannon, which is certainly one of my most hard-hitting journalistic experiences. So folks, for the backstory for you, this time last year, I ate an ice cream on live TV with Shannon while we chatted, and it melted all over me. So this year, we're honoring this incredible initiative that you just heard about once again, but this time I pre-froze this till just minutes before. So we should be prepared to have me eat this ice cream and talk about this forecast. And I gotta tell you folks, that it is a brilliant forecast when you're talking about trying to increase your chances of eating ice cream. Plenty of sunshine this upcoming week ahead. Throughout this entire work week, it's the kind of Goldilocks forecast. Not too hot, not too cold, a little bit of UV to talk about over the coming days, but really low humidity, temperatures that are hovering just around seasonal, nice, comfortable overnight lows. Little bit of storm chance over the next 24 to 36 hours, but really it's hit or miss. And it's that perfect time of summer, right, Shannon, to enjoy an ice cream cone. Still got lots of summer left. I always think about that around Honda Indy weekend. It's, you know, the highlight of summer before you really get into the dog days. Let's talk about the issue at hand right now, ice cream. My favorite flavor, strawberry, maybe strawberry cheesecake. Before we let everybody go, I think you should tell everybody your favorite flavor, and cup or cone? Cone all the way for me.
Yeah. I am a cup person. Cheers to you. And you know what? I definitely stuck mine in a freezer, so I can't even get you a scoop to show you. Last year I fibbed. She asked me what my favorite flavor was. I said maple pecan because I panicked. That's not accurate. I just love a good old vanilla. It's kind of boring. That's it for us. We're going to take you back to Harbourfront in Toronto. People were savoring the sunshine today, and of course, all the ice cream. I hope you had a chance to enjoy a scoop yourself. That's it for us. We'll see you again next weekend.